So today we're going to test the women's New Balance 5280. It's the only shoe that we've tested so far that has a carbon fiber plate to it. So this will be very interesting. The shoe, the manufacturer says it has an approximal 8mm drop to it. So let's start with the weighing of the shoe. So this shoe weighs about 4.8 ounces. So let's remember that, and let's go ahead with our testing. What we're going to do is to test the structural parameters of the shoe, compare it to 42 shoes that we've already tested, and then we can tell you, give us our data and who should be in the shoe. Okay, so let's go ahead and test. So the first thing we're going to do is test the medial or the shoe stability index for the midfoot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to twist that shoe 15 degrees measured in inch-pounds, how much resistance. And the more inch-pounds, the more midfoot stability. The less inch-pounds, the less stability. So let's go ahead with that. And we have about 28 inch-pounds. So let's put that into our mathematical model. Okay. So the next thing we're going to measure is the rear foot stability of the shoe, or how firm it is. The firmer it is, the more stability. The less firm, the less stability. We'll compress this 100 pounds, measure in millimeters how much it took to get to that 100 pounds. The more millimeters, the more or the less support in the rear foot. The less millimeters, the firmer, the more support. Okay, so let's go ahead with that. Add the poundage to the rear foot. And it took 8.68 millimeters to get to 100 pounds. So let's stick that in there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure the energy rebound or energy return in the shoe. We're going to load this to 100 pounds, release this lever, and this will fly up. The more millimeters it flies up, the more energy return, the less energy return. So let's go ahead with that. And that is 20.22 millimeters. That's very high, so this shoe has a lot of energy return from its midsole. So we'll put 20.22. Okay, so let's take a look at this shoe. The shoe is obviously a very fast shoe for two reasons. It weighs only 4.9 ounces. And it's got a very high rebound index of 20.22. Looking at it, comparing to 42 shoes, we do not have a shoe that measures that low. So we would recommend this shoe for someone who is light and has a very good flexibility in the lower extremity. And that's important because it has a negative vertical support, which brings the heel below the forefoot, and that puts a lot of eccentric loading to the Achilles and the foot, the whole posterior calf complex. So for that reason, you want to make sure you have good flexibility so you don't get injuries like Achilles tendonitis, heel pain, plantar fasciitis, etc. So this shoe has a very small market available to it because of its lack or its low shoe stability index and its negative vertical support. I think that if the shoe was slightly altered for structural parameters, we could bring this up on the shoe stability index and make it more marketable to a larger group of people. So let's see how this could happen. So let's put the 27.5 here so we can remember what that is. That's the shoe stability index that we had before. Now, we can reconfigure this by lowering the vertical compression index to make the rear foot firmer, and we lower that to 6. So 6 is still a fairly cushioned shoe. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to take the unloaded heel to toe drop and raise that 1 millimeter to 9. Okay, so now we've raised the shoe stability index from 27.7 to 45.3. So that brings it up into the minimal stability area. So more people can actually use it. We've taken the loaded heel to toe drop and taken it from a negative number up to a positive 3 millimeters. That puts it in the moderate category for loaded heel to toe drop or vertical support. So now the shoe has a higher shoe stability index, a higher vertical support, and so that makes it available for more people to use. Anyway, I hope that explains what we feel about the shoe.